We wanted to know if Super Mega Pokemon are actually worth it. This summer, we're seeing Super Mega Mewtwo X and Y, Super Mega Skarmory, Super Mega Raichu X and Y, and maybe even more.
And since the debut of Super Mega Pokemon during the Kalos Tour, it has been marketed that this is a game changer for any Pokemon Go player and your account.
But you and I have always agreed that having a Mega Pokemon is way better than not using a Mega Pokemon. So let's look into a Mega Level 3 versus a Super Max level.
During Frigibax Day, we wanted to do a little experiment. We caught exactly 200 Frigibax. I use a level 3 Mega Rayquaza, and Cream used a Super Mega Dragonite. And we were specifically tracking the bonuses like Candy XL, and XP earned with these Megas active. So before going over the results, it's really important to know how it's written in the game, the difference between a level 3 Mega and a Super Mega. So a level 3 Mega, you get enhanced catch candy bonus, increased Candy XL chance, enhanced catch XP bonus. With a Super Max level, you're getting greatly enhanced catch candy bonus, massively increased Candy XL chance, and greatly enhanced catch XP bonus.
So with these bonuses, it looks like that Super Max level is going to get more candy, a massive amount of XL candy, and some XP. But what I'm most curious about is the XL candy, because that's the premium resource and that's the competitive edge for using a Super Max level.
Exactly. So to me, when I hear massively increased Candy XL chance, I'm hearing a Super Mega is going to be giving you significantly more Candy XL than a level 3 Mega.
Okay, so let's look at the results. Let's do the baseline. Let's do your Mega Level 3 for what you actually got. 402 candy, 163 Candy XL, 20,100 bonus XP.
So that's really good for a level 3 Mega.
Because right away, if you didn't have a Mega Pokemon evolve, you wouldn't have received these bonuses. Now let's look at what I got. 603 candy, 174 Candy XL, and 40,000 bonus XP. So if we look at the candy, the greatly enhanced catch candy bonus, I would say that's true. I call it 201 more candy than you.
200 more is definitely a ton more, but 400 already is a lot. So going from 400 to 600, it is definitely a difference.
But when we call 200 Pokemon, looks like I got one extra over you on average for that whole 200. But for the Candy XL, massively increased Candy XL chance, I only got 11 more Candy XL than you did.
I am like not surprised, but surprised. I went into this experiment kind of knowing that I didn't actually think the Super Mega was going to be that much better than a level 3. It just was something I felt. And this is like the one bonus that really disappoints me.
And it's interesting because we tracked each other as we played, and we would look at the Candy XL. And at one point you had more Candy XL than I had.
Yes.
So it fluctuated. So it looks like it's just happened to be higher when we finished this. And it doesn't make much difference. And I feel like that's very misleading to say massively increased Candy XL chance.
Yeah, because when I hear greatly versus massively, to me, massive is, it's massive, it's huge. Great is great, massive is massive. So it's a little misleading. I would say massive candy, greatly enhanced Candy XL. That's kind of how I would say it.
And I assume this is over the baseline, maybe massively over nothing. But when you're looking at that specifically, that it said increase beforehand, then massively, the candy was greatly enhanced, but not much difference at all in the Candy XL. And for the XP of 40,000 bonus XP, that's 19,900 more than you. So that was more. That was greatly enhanced of the XP. So that one is true. So it looks like it's true minus the XL candy.
But like you said earlier, that is kind of the biggest selling point for us when we found out about Super Mega Pokemon getting more Candy XL. It doesn't really seem like that's holding up to the hype that I feel like we were promised and why we really wanted Super Mega Pokemon.
These bonuses like candy, it's nice to get more candy, but you already have a 2x catch candy event with Frigibax. It's a nice to have to get more candy, getting more XP. I don't really care about XP because XP is one of those things that there's nothing I can get from the XP. Once you hit your milestones, like enough to level up, which we have way more than the max levels required, to me, there's no point in just getting more XP. So I'm not using this for the XP. Candy, we have a lot of strategies of getting candy. If I really need it, I'll use the pineapple berries, maybe silver pineapple berries sometimes. This event having 2x catch candy, but having that selling feature for the XL candy, not making a difference. I'm very surprised because that's exactly what I would use it for. So for something like this, where we call it 200 Frigibax, I like to think of it as raids. Maybe if you're grinding a Pokemon, let's say Rayquaza's out and you're grinding that. If you grind 200 Rayquazas and you use that Super Mega because you spent the 5,000 Mega energy to get your Pokemon to Super Max level, you're only gonna get maybe 11 more XL candy than someone who just used a Mega level 3.
Yeah, and we always know that whenever like some of these premium Pokemon come out, there's always like some bonus with some ticket that gives you more XL candy. So your XL candy you will get in other ways too. But yeah, it seems kind of like this weird disconnect for only 11 more versus like if I just didn't want to get a Super Mega, like why would I really?
And even with the extra candy, if I wanted to do the conversion of 100, I got 200 more candy than you, so I guess 2 more XL candy on top that I could get from
Yeah,
that.
right. That's funny. So I would say for this, like, does this change my opinion on us getting Super Megas? Yes and no. Yes, I feel like it's not as cool as it is marketed, but no, because I'm still going to get the Super Mega for the collection aspect of this game. So when Skarmory comes out, I'm still going to get the Super Mega Skarmory. Raichu, it's kind of a tough one because you've got to do like double the raids, right? Because X and Y are split in Mega Energy. So that's like just double the raids versus Skarmory is just like, you know, once you get it, you're done. And then of course for Mewtwo, like I want to get a Super Mega Mewtwo, but it does change the fact that like you're not getting like the biggest bonus from getting something like a Super Mega and doing all the extra raids, the extra Mega Energy, not mentioning how much extra Mega Energy it costs for Mewtwo. And it's not like Mewtwo Super Mega is going to have greatly enhanced, right? It's still a Super Mega, even though it costs more to Super Mega.
Right, so if I was using the candy, I would get the same bonus from using Phalanx or Malamar for the fighting or the psychic.
Exactly, yeah.
But the only difference like with Mewtwo is that there could be an adventure effect tied to it. We've talked about that being a possibility, and I think something was data mined. So that one could have an incentive to get the Super Mega just to use the adventure effect. But out of all the other Pokemon, like you said, Skarmory, Raichu, doesn't really make a difference over a Mega Level 3 to me.
Yeah, I think you're like a lot more shocked than I am on this. Like I think you thought that like you'd be getting way more candy, Candy XL. You did get more candy, but 200 is still like not like the most, right? Like you said, using a pineapple berry 2 times catch candy, we're gonna trade it. We're just gonna be able to get so much Frigibax candy. We have like thousands, like 6,000 right now. So Frigibax candy is not a problem for us, for example.
And in the grand scheme, if someone has a strategy of catching a Pokemon with any Mega Pokemon evolved that's not Super Mega, using a Pineapple Berry, trading that on a Trade Friday, getting the 2 times XL candy, and then holding that possibly for a transfer bonus, you're going to milk that candy even more. And just having a Super Mega is just a little piece in there if you want a little bit more optimization, but it's not making that much more of a difference over someone that didn't use it.
I would say the most important thing is just to have a level 3 Mega, period, for candy. Because apparently, you know, when the Super Megas were announced, it was very clear that Niantic / Scopely said people don't use Megas, right? So they're trying to encourage people to use Megas to get the bonus. You know, we see it on the screen now. This is how we're able to track it. We finally have that tracker of how much candy, XL candy we're getting from a Mega. But still, you still should have a Mega, right, to get the candy, because 400 candy is way better than nothing extra.
Let us know if you're surprised by this. Does it change your opinion on Super Mega Pokemon? Is the candy bonus enough alone, or did you do this too? And how much XL candy did you get?
And we'll see you in the next video.